you are a content creator or want to be a content creator, a creative or a spiritual business entrepreneur, and you have been feeling a little trepidatious about making content, it feels like it's getting stuck here in our throat chakra and we are not communicating and articulating in the ways that we prefer, I'm going to share some advice that I gave to my client a couple moments ago with her permission. And we said it will help you grow and evolve in your own life. Client is moving into being a spiritual entrepreneur and a content creator. The issues that she expressed to me were fears around speaking the messages that I receive, esoteric wisdom and knowledge and insights, channeling, and her words getting very jumbled when she was trying to speak. When I went into her energy field to talk to her astral body, her etheric body, her higher self mentioned that listening to oceanic Reiki would be really beneficial because what I was envisioning was a river. Okay, that is the messages flowing through you, but there was a lot of rocks in the river. So it was creating these distortions in her communication. The oceanic Reiki is going to smooth those things out with the healing properties of water and Mother Gaia. There's a woman on Tube. Her name is Sarah Louise Tilsley. Sarah Louise Tilsley. She has lots of oceanic Reiki, lots of other types of Reiki as well, but she is a master healer. I definitely recommend going on and finding some of her videos and listening to them while you're on a walk, while you're doing chores, while you are taking a bath, whatever. It is going to help energetically repair some of that throat chakra damage. Oceanic Reiki to smooth out the granules in your voice. And when I asked my client, where do you think those came from in the first place, those granules? And she said, having to hide parts of myself. I asked, is it okay if I take a look at what is going on? And she said, yes. And when I saw her astral body, there was another version of her. So there's her that I was currently talking to, and this other version that she was astral projecting outside of herself. And it is a accumulation of a masked identity that she was presenting to her family members and people in her 3D reality. This is why you're having a difficult time moving forward with creating content, because you have strong energetic cords with this other version of yourself. The first step is being aware that she is there. And when I asked her, do you feel that she's there? Do you feel that you are shifting into her when you are around your family members or just going about your 3D? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, great, love. We are aware that she's there now. What is happening is you are trying to speak through two different voices, which is creating distortions. You are trying to speak through two different consciousness and two different identities. This masked version of you over here, and then you that is underneath the mask, the true you, the authentic you. This curated version of you is the non-psychic, non-intuitive one, because you have been energetically punished for being that person. When you can see through the totality of someone's soul, it can be very triggering to others. Like, why are you all up in my business? Because sometimes what you can see, other people cannot. You can see what's going on in their subconscious, and they get threatened by that. And they cannot see you. They cannot see the totality of who you are. So there's a mismatch in vibrations and frequencies, and they feel attacked. You had to build this version of you over here that is not gifted and talented in multidimensionality. I said, the thing is, the 3D persons over here are not your target audience. They are not your community. They are not your soul tribe members. Over here in these realmscapes that you want to move into and be in your dream life, those are a collective of people who are high vibe, neurodivergent, spiritually aware girlies whose hyperfixations are growth and self-development. They want to hear what you have to say. They want the psychicism. They want the intuitive isms. They want you to clearly communicate to them why things are off in their reality. They want you to point out the behavioral patterns. They want to create exponential shifts in their life, and they know the only way to do that is to point out shadow work and how they can better themselves in their self-concept. They want you to utilize your beautiful gifts, talents, and abilities on them. This is when I was speaking to the real version of her. Okay, not the mask, just like I'm talking to that version of you right now. And I said, give me your hands. I said, keep your hands in mine. And I said, what do you need to feel supported in more fully embodying this true identity? We have this curated masked version over here, okay, and the true you. And she said, I feel like I'm going to be hurting the masked version. I'm going to be pulling the rug out from underneath her and everything that she has built thus far. I said, okay, do you think that she's mad at you? And she said, yes. And I said, it's probably a projection of your own mind. It's probably not actually how she feels, this masked version. Why don't you go ask her? So the masked version of her said, thank God we are stepping into our true form. And she said, what? I thought you were going to be upset. Like I'm trying to tear down everything you built. And she said, I don't want to be this identity forever. It's exhausting. It is so incredibly tiring to put on this presentation of me that is not even real. She said, I was doing what I needed to do to keep us secure. Okay, but that's a momentary thing. That's a blip in time. We're not going to be doing that forever, but I was doing that for us and our inner children. The mass version said, what we can do instead is start bridging the gap. Speak your oracleized truth, and one day we will merge into one. What she meant by this, sometimes we are being very hard on ourselves and berating ourselves for having this masked, curated version, but we are never going to create forward movement from a place of self-hatred. What I was telling my client is it is totally okay that both of these identities of you exist. If it is going to keep you more sane and grounded and centered to present this version of yourself in your 3D reality with your family members or coworkers or whomever, that's totally fine. But what we also need to do at the same time is create these worldscapes over here in the realities that we want to be in a sacred container space where we are going to be celebrated and honored and revered, paid for our gifts, talents, and abilities. So that way we can start sending more confidence and self-concept to that masked version of ourselves. And then it's going to be a natural progression of us showcasing more of our personality and our ideologies and our beliefs with people who are in our 3D. And then one day we just wake up and we just are authentically us. But it is okay to bridge the gap and say, I love you so much. Thank you so much for protecting us and helping me feel safe. When I'm stepping over here into these new realms, that's not the time for that though. I'm going to take a breath and a pause and say, this is okay for me to step into my true identity over here. These persons and these collectives and audiences and communities, they want to hear what I have to say. They're going to love me. They're going to honor me, celebrate me. It is going to change not only their lives, but it's going to change my life. Because this is a way that I am going to find myself again and fully step in and embody the real me. And to bring it back around, that mass version is not upset with you that you're shifting and growing and evolving. She's ready for it too. Y'all do it together, holding hands. Make it a co-collaborative experience and hype and support one another up along the way. I would love to hear in the comments if this helped you shift your perspectives, if it got you hyped. If you're ready to explore your soul's next evolution, you know where to find me. Remember to give a follow to join the community, and I'm wishing you an absolutely magical day.